we've seen anything today.
Yeah, we
It's
saw
always
teams
been
dropping on
some
top of
sort
each
of
other.
tank on top of each other. Here, nope, not at all. They're just one team has a very, very clear military control. Let's see if that's going to pay out.
Yeah, and that means if they do get that military shift, I mean, how does Peru get there? I don't see a way that they can just get onto the island. So they're kind of relying on that, not going towards the military circle. But it is an esports setting, so the military shift is less likely than we usually see in tournaments.
That's exactly it. I want to see a Stalper circle. Just force everyone. Like, I want to see a first circle that doesn't have any players inside it. Just for the sake of, you know what, that's as fair as can be. I guess 30 players sitting and shooting at you while you're out there.
And it looks like Peru is starting to move down into it now to take over at least the first few ridges. They're not necessarily going to commit all the way, particularly on the sort of northwestern side of the field. There's like a really big ridge you can play around. You put like 5-6 players there pretty easily. And it gives you a really good position because obviously you know your back's clear, right? You can't play it in like a traditional squads format. But because you know your back's clear, that entire ridge is playable. And it looks like Peru's definitely recognized that, but this might be a mistake. They're going to crash straight into a stronghold for Paraguay.
There's
France
a chance for a fight escalating here. We haven't really seen any engagement so far, but this push down towards the forest seems like it for sure will cause some sort of chaos. Nope, it forces all the Peruvians to just 180 and get the hell out of there.
You get the hell out of Dodge right now, but there's a little bit of a scouting. They at least stopped first, right? I was kind of nervous that they were just going to crash straight in. You know, they were just going to drive in and lose like 5 players off the rip. But it looked like they put up. But actually, it looks like Arctic wants to get involved.
There's no reason not to. 2v30. I've seen bigger fights happen. Let's see. Next circle could be very telling of how this one is going to turn out. Oh my lord! There's actually not a single Peruvian player inside this circle. That's going to be tough. What do you do if you're Peru here? Where do you push? Where do you rotate?
I think you just have to take the field, right? You just have to stack your hopes on that field because you can't take control of the hill. You know, the crater, the cratered area on the western edge is taken already by Paraguay. The compound's taken. Like the whole south side of that circle is just unplayable for you. But you know the circle's going to come relatively north, right? You know it should come towards this area that we're looking at now. So if you take control of that field, at the worst, you're going to have like 15 players into the late game. You know, I mean, you might lose a few players doing it, but if you're scared of losing a few players, like you might as well not be playing Nations Royale because you're going to lose half your team in most games.
Oh yeah, if not even more than that. I've literally seen I think the record I've seen is a team surviving with 2 players.
Yeah, I think we had one in SEA. There was 5, I think, with time limited by 5. But that's the closest we've seen this time around. And yeah, finally Peru was going for those shacks. Luckily for them, Paraguay didn't get there first, so they at least have these control. And that ridge I was talking about being pretty strong where France is. It's a nice little place, and you can move between the ridges. You know, you have this one, you have the next ridge here to the right,
yeah, true,
and that little shack. So it's a nice little spot. It's not amazing. It's not as good as a compound. It's better than nothing. Yeah. When you're in a field and you have a ridge.
Exactly. If you can keep your vehicles functional as well, I think that's going to get you along. But as you can see now, Jen, and he's feeling the hurt of being forced into that field. Now it does get picked up. Got to get away fast. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, if you can get a somewhat aggressive position in the field, that seems like someone who's having a ping issue. If you can get a somewhat aggressive position in the field, then you might just be able to. I mean, with a good next circle shift, you can do.
They go for the crash.
There's no field play here. They're all sending it up to the compound. Peru wants the building.
And it looks like they're just going to have overwhelming numbers, but they're running each other over. Oh no, they've got 2 knocks. I think they should be able to get them up, and the overwhelming numbers should come in to help out Peru, but this is getting very messy.
Very messy indeed. Let's see how this one is going to pan out. I'm seeing kills all over the place. It's going back and forth. A lot of knocks, not so many flushes yet. And you can see all the Peruvian players from outside have a perfect position to try and hit them on the west side. They need to get inside towards that shack. And as you can see right now, there is so many people on top of each other. It's insane.
All those people on the hills are just shooting down into Peru. But they have managed to get a little foothold. They've got the warehouse. It's better than nothing. But Paraguay is just starting to collapse now. And I think that high ground cover is really going to come in for Paraguay. It basically means Peru has to sit inside this warehouse. And once you get close enough, you can just start nading in like this. You're going to get a lot of knocks.
Yep, also on your teammates. I'm seeing a whole hell of a lot of team damage being done, and that's of course far from optimal. But when everyone is on top of each other like this, it's gotta. I mean, here it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I've always wondered, like in old medieval wars, when there's like 10,000 people against each other, how the hell does one or two not accidentally kill one another?
Well, there was a battle where the Austrian army fought itself and lost like 30,000 people in history. So it is a pretty traditional part of combat. But it looks like Peru's actually done quite well to get control of this compound. They've got a slight man advantage. There are a lot of people knocked, so those numbers might be a little bit misleading. But the problem for Peru is, where do they go from here? You know, they have the control of the northern side of the compound, but they can't get out. They can't go outside the warehouse because they get shot from the hill. Yes, they're getting these kills, but I'm very nervous for their long-term future.
Circle just got to end inside the compound.
Imagine that. It just ends in the warehouse.
That's the play. That's what they were playing for. And well, let's see if it's going to work out for them. They have the numbers right now. They've forced all of the Paraguayan players down the hill to try and reclaim what once was theirs. But seems like they're holding off pretty well right now.
And at least by numbers, Peru looks to be doing quite well. But we keep saying that hilltop is going to become really important. But if you lose so many players, that it doesn't mean, you go down by like 10 players. If it's 25 to 15, let's say, even that hilltop's not going to sway that back in your favor. So Paraguay needs to find a big gunfight soon, or it's going to get a bit unassailable for them. And Peru's really just going to take map 1.
Let's see. Jan is on the outside of the wall. Doesn't seem like he really wants to peek over. It's one of those, I don't want to, but you kind of have to. Jabri is going to fall as well. Tried to make a push, not going to work out.
So many knocks.
Still in their favor. But as you guys probably know, out there watching, the knocks are not counted. So the player losses might be higher. Having said that, I'm not seeing a lot of Peruvian knocks. So they might actually have the 24 people up they say they do.
Yeah, that's the one big benefit of having that hard cover, right? Being in the buildings means that if you do get knocked, you can just get res, right? All these players from Paraguay that are trying to run down from the hill, if they get knocked down, there's no way out. They were running down, they get shot, and someone else trades the kill. But now Peru's starting to come out. They've recognized how big their kill advantage is, right? How big their man advantage is. And now they can just start taking 1v1s. As long as they're trading their kills, there's not really any way Paraguay can win this.
Exactly. Arctic was one of the first ones to initiate the battle earlier as well. He's still here trying to make a play and hasn't found a kill yet, but he sure is aggressive. A front runner who isn't afraid of risking his life for the greater good of the team. Let's see. No, not able to find the kill there either.
Yeah, it's still like every time the Paraguayans get a knock, Peru's just coming in and trading it. They're holding their ground just about, but it's not enough. They need to try and get more kills. They need to get more flushes as well, because there's so many reses coming in Peru's favor. But that kill feed is looking very Paraguayan right now, and they're starting to clear out this eastern edge.
Yeah, they are holding on pretty well. Maybe Peru is getting a little greedy because, theoretically, they did have the circle here. Mm-hmm. It's all the Paraguayan players who are forced to make the push forward, right? But they don't have to push up here. They're doing it anyway, but they're losing a lot of players in doing so.
Yeah, but eventually that man advantage is just still playing in favor of Peru. You see, they're starting a little bit of a comeback, and that's a big nade. It should get 3 players down. Was it a little bit too far? Just gets away. But those players they're not long for this world, I don't think.
Nah, we'll see. Still a pretty damn decent advantage for Peru. There are players down on both sides. Actually, a couple of knocks there for Peru, so the numbers might be a little misleading. 6 bullets left for MG. That's the next issue you get, right? If you didn't have time to loot a whole lot, then it's going to be hard to win those battles if you have to start throwing pants.
It kind of feels like you have these waves where Peru is on the advantage and they get a couple knocks, and then they over-aggress to try and flush the kills. And then Paraguay gets a couple kills, and every time it just goes back and forth. But ultimately, I think that crash onto the compound, the sheer overwhelming numbers that they had in that compound where they pretty much cleared it out, was the reason why they were able to get such a massive man advantage. And eventually, Peru closed the game out 1-0 to them.
Yep. There you go. 20 people stayed alive as they claimed the win on Erangel. A game that I didn't at first think they were going to have an easy time with, especially when we saw how Paraguay started spreading out. They had full control of circles, as we talked about earlier, went in their favor. But Peru, once they said 3-2-1, the warehouse is ours, they committed to it and it paid off.
Yeah, I was very nervous for them when they made that crash. Right? You're coming into a compound where you've probably got like 10, 15 people shooting at you, but they were able to make it work. They got that foothold in the warehouse, as you said, and from there, able to clear out the compound. They didn't really lose any players doing it, which I was really surprised by. Like, I was expecting the players in the compound to, get the 1, get the 2 kills every now and then. But every time, Peru was there getting the trade. So a really nice bit of teamwork, which, given the